All right, so today we're going to go over how to edit your marketing intern website. And so when you first go to marketinginterns.squarespace.com, the password is let me in. And then once you get there, and I have the site open in Chrome, and my recommendation is that you use two different browsers to look at the site. And because it's slightly different in admin mode than it is in regular view mode. So here's the page. Here's the page in Safari, and I've logged in. And first I'm going to go over just the basics of how Squarespace works. And so the first thing you're going to see is pages, design, commerce, marketing, scheduling, etc., etc. What you're going to use most is the pages. And if we go to pages here, what we have here is primary navigation, secondary navigation, and footer navigation. And we don't have any pages in here, and we're not going to be doing this as part of this project. Now, if we put pages under the primary navigation, we can click here to add new pages. Those are going to show up across the top. Secondary is going to show up typically below the primary, and then the footer is being able to add some links down in the footer. But for our purposes, we're not going to use any of these, and we're going to put everything in what's called a not linked, which means it's not any. You can get to it by URL, and you can get to it by URL. It's just not in any immediate navigation. Now, once we look over in the different types of pages we have here, what I have here is what's called an index page, and this is index because it's showing these two little lines right here, and I've organized everybody's pages in alphabetical order, and you should do the same when you're adding new pages. And then below that, we have what's called our gallery pages. If I want to create a page, I click on this plus, and I can click and pick out all different types of pages. And layouts, well, up here is layouts, here's the different pages. So we actually do have a limited types of pages here, and we click and we can create those pages. So the galleries are slightly different than these index pages, where it's mostly focused around images. And again, these are done in alphabetical order. Since different interns are using the testimonials, for example, what we're doing is we're creating gallery page for each intern, or an intern is creating it for themselves, and then they're going to put their name after that, so it's easy again to kind of organize things, again using alphabetical ordering. And then down here we also have what's called product pages, which is primarily for e-commerce, but we're using them a little bit differently, and we sometimes will do that, and we're using it for our skills. And then we have some regular pages here, a blog, one blog in here, events, and then archive. So these are kind of pages that we're not using anymore. I'm thinking about deleting. And note that you have deleted pages here. So if you delete something by mistake, you can always click on this page here, and we've got the last 30 days, and then we can restore these pages, or we can empty the trash. So trying to keep things clean and organized, and that's probably a really important thing to keep in mind as you're adding pages and working in this, is that in this site, and plus any customer sites you're going to work on, you're going to want to try and keep things as organized as possible. I forgot to mention that this is what's called a link page. It's not really a page, just a link, but I'm using it to organize assets. So typically you can put a link up in the navigation, and then that link can point to somewhere else. It can point off site or point to another page somewhere else, but I'm using it right now primarily as just to organize the different groups of pages, something I've created there. So the most important, I call it most important, but one of the key pages is this index page, and I'm going to go to this sample intern page. Now notice that it also has a home button or home icon next to it, which means whenever we click the logo or we log in the first time, we're going to go to this page. This is the home page, so to speak. So I've got the sample intern set up like that. And then in here are separate pages. Now notice these are all regular pages. Now back down here again, I was showing you the gallery pages. This one actually, I'm just kind of cleaning things up here, and I'm going to have to look at this one. So I'm just going to be checking that out. But for the most part, you can see that we only currently have one page that's by itself, and we could actually take one of these pages and drag it off by itself and put it over there. But this is under an index page, and we can drag the order, as you can see. And if I hover over, so if I click on here and then I hover over, I can see that it says hero, and that's pertaining to this section, and I can edit this hero through here. I can hit the settings, which gives me different capabilities of editing that page. Same if I hit this gear. It's kind of the same thing if I were to hit settings up here, And I've got, what the title is, navigation, URL slug if I wanted to visit this page directly, enable page if I want to turn this page off. I can do that, and this page will turn gray if I save it. I'll do that. So notice that if I click on this page, it's now not showing. Now I could get to it if I want to click on it, and I can edit this so I can still see it when I'm in admin mode, but it will essentially disappear if I reload this page here. See how that page has disappeared. So that's how you can turn pages on or off. So I'll turn that back on. And we also have now for search engines, we can put in a page description. We can duplicate this page, and this is something we're going to use a lot of, is this ability to duplicate pages, because a lot of things are kind of set up a certain way, and then if we duplicate it, we have all those settings, and then we can just swap out the content, like the images. So this duplicate option is going to be kind of important. Enable page, SEO. This is where we can add some information that's SEO. And there's some other things here, advanced if we want to add custom code. But for the most part, when you're looking at something to set on a page or enable, this is where that works. And so I'll hit save here to turn that back on. And then looking at this index page, it has the same thing. So this index page, this is a little bit different. If you'll see that the URL slug is intern, navigation title, and then what's interesting is that we have this option when it's to add a password. So any page can have its own password, and we can just type that in and hit save, and then it'll be password protected. So that's another thing you're going to see, and it's important to keep in mind. Now, not all pages have the ability to duplicate it. The index page doesn't. And so that's the basics of how pages work, and just a quick overview. But next, we're going to go over specific elements of these pages, and I think that's going to help explain why we're using different pages and why they're situated the way they are.